Well, the singles match is underway. Welcome, everyone, to Quincy Park in Arlington, Virginia, where the Washington Lee Generals are hosting the Yorktown Patriots in girls tennis this afternoon. And in this match, we have Valerie Marshall from Yorktown playing against Britt Grotos from Washington Lee. And a point for Grotos. We're probably going to see quite a few long rallies between these two players. Both have good ground strokes, good skills, and so it should be a good match. And a second serve for Grotos. Good forehand from Marshall, and Grotos can't catch up with it. These two players will meet again in doubles a little bit later, after the 6 singles matches are done. It'll be Valerie Marshall and Sophie Sampson for Yorktown playing doubles against Britt Grotos and Eleanor Doolittle for Washington Lee. Grotos gets the missed first serve, and now we'll take her second serve. And the first game goes to Valerie Marshall. And now Marshall will serve. And Grotos can't catch up with that one, so after a nice rally, the point goes to Marshall. On the other courts at the moment, for Yorktown, Sophie Sampson is playing against Eleanor Doolittle. And over on court marked number 1, Mila Sampson is playing against Lydia Matthews. Sampson from Yorktown, Matthews from Washington Lee. And on court number 4, Summer Williams for Yorktown against Sophia Wu from Washington Lee. Good serve from Marshall, and it looked like the return went long. On courts 5 and 6, we've got Isabel Tate for Yorktown playing against Vida Vosagian, for Washington Lee. And Rebecca Joskow for Yorktown is playing against Sophie Beach from Washington Lee. First match of the season for both teams. Washington Lee has had a couple scrimmages, and both teams have had their practice routine disrupted by the snow from a week ago. So a mild winter in this area probably allowed the players to work on their game more than usual. but this past week has been a bit dicey with the weather. So Marshall's up 2 games to none, and Grotos is serving now, trying to hold, serve, and pick up her first game of the match. That looked long. Point for Grotos. You can probably hear in the background, Quincy Park, a weekday after school can be a very busy place. We've got the varsity tennis match on the courts, and directly behind us, the Washington baseball team is practicing on the area outside their field. Their field is actually quite soggy. The court's drained very well for tennis, but the baseball team is doing some baseball drills directly behind our camera here at Quincy Park. But Marshall and Grotos are focused on their game. So Grotos early on having a little bit of trouble with her first serve, but she'll find her rhythm, I'm sure. Up 3-0. Valerie Marshall serving to Britt Grotos. Marshall able to use the court well. And keeping Grotos on the move so far. So she takes the first point of his 4th game. These two schools will meet again in April. That time the girls will play over at Yorktown. And then a lot of these players are likely to play against each other in the Conference 6 tournament, which will be during the early part of May. Trailing by 4 games now. Britt Grotos is serving in the 5th game, hoping to hold serve and pick up a game. Good power forehand from Marshall. Appeared to go long, so a point for Grotos. Good rally. camera placement is not quite optimal for some of the serves from Grotos. Marshall is playing off screen. And there's a unforced error from Marshall on her backhand. So far she's been winning more points with her forehand, but she sets up those points often with the backhand. Nice get by Marshall. The rally continues, and the point goes to Marshall. Good, very good shot from Britt Grotos, but Valerie Marshall was able to handle it. And there's that forehand again. All right, we are back, and Marshall is serving now, up 5 games to none. Players are playing under some heavy cloud cover. Everyone in Arlington is probably waiting for spring to arrive firmly, but it's a warm enough day that that should not be a factor. And the Generals have a new coach, Debbie Lahardy, for girls tennis. While Natalie Roy is the Yorktown coach. She's been at the helm for several years now for the Patriots. Terrific forehand by Grotos right there. Marshall able to make the return. The rally continues. And the point goes to Marshall. And a point off the backhand for Marshall. Grotos was trying to make Marshall rely on the backhand. But Marshall stepped up her game and took the point. The point for Marshall. That will give the game to Valerie Marshall. All right, Marshall serving now, up 7 games to none. We've had some very long rallies. Grotos has been contesting every point, but hasn't been able to claim a game yet. There's a good second serve from Marshall. I think Valerie Marshall's backhand has warmed up a little bit. She's using a little more power than in the first few games of this set. And another point for Valerie Marshall. Marshall's a senior for Yorktown. She's had a really good high school career. Done very well in the conference and all the postseason tournaments, starting with her freshman year. So Marshall trying to hold serve and go up 8 games to none. But she will need a second serve for that point. And a double fault. Good rally by both players. Grotos was using the court very well, but the point ended up going to Marshall. Off of a forehand that Grotos was unable to catch up to. Marshall leads 8 games to none. And that ends a terrific rally. Both players playing very well in this match, but the points seem to be going Marshall's way. So with an 8-0 lead, Marshall up by 8 games to none. Britt Grotos is trying to hold serve and pick up a game. Serve was long. And almost got over the net for Marshall, so a point for Grotos. And we'll get a second serve. Nice return from Grotos. Marshall gone up to the net, and then couldn't get back on time with the short hop lob. And we'll get a second serve now. Good point for Grotos. She was able to get up toward the net and keep the defend the angles that Marshall could have returned. All right, we'll get a second serve now. And another point off forehand by Valerie Marshall. And Grotos picks up a game. She's down 8 games to 1. All right, we are back now. Valerie Marshall's leading 8 games to 1 over Britt Grotos from Washington Lee. And Marshall serving. Another long rally. We've seen many of them in this match. Marshall has generally been able to use more of the court and win more points that way. And we'll get a second serve from Marshall. Another point for Valerie Marshall. Grotos has made a lot of great strokes in this match, but Marshall seems to be able to counter. All right, Marshall now up 9 games to 1. And Grotos hoping to hold and pick up her second game. It's a rare double fault for Grotos. Point for Grotos. Again, good rally by both players. Grotos able to control the pace a little more on that one. We're at 30-30 here in the game, and Valerie Marshall leading 9-1 in terms of games, and that'll bring us to match point. Marshall going for the win here. Grotos not backing down, countering the strong backhands from Marshall. And that's the match. Valerie Marshall takes it 10 games to 1 with Britt Grotos. Thanks for watching.